We began our trip at Berthoud Pass. We then hiked through the Vasquez Peak Wilderness, headed southwest into the Ptarmigan Peak Wilderness, and then took a night at a hostel in Silverthorne. Then we went into the Eagle's Nest Wilderness for a couple of nights, had a brief layover in Copper for a meal, then we crossed the 10-mile mountains and ended up in Breckenridge. This was 7 days of hiking. We did a little over 70 miles and 17,000 vertical feet. We slept the first night in the warming hut on top of Berthoud Pass. Not the greatest place to stay, but it made it so we could get an early start on our hike the next morning.
Well, we begin our hike on Berthoud Pass. The drive up to Rawlins turned out to be much more rough than we expected, and the little Honda HRV probably wasn't the best vehicle for it. But we have a beautiful morning to get started.
A little bit of rain coming down. Not surprised. We expected this. Make dinner later, and hopefully it'll let up. But I don't know. Keeps going through the night, and the sound puts me to sleep.
Day 2 was a beautiful morning with clear skies, and that lasted about 10 minutes.
The storm eased a bit. Sure makes a unique view. Looks like we're heading up that ridge into the clouds. We made the top. Not much of a view. But we are And a little bit of blue sky above us. Yeah, totally.
It had been a pretty windy and rainy day, so when we set up camp, I laid my gear out to try to dry it out a bit.
This is home. Got my sleeping pad, sleeping quilt. Keep my backpack down there. Some assorted stuff here. Water nearby. My shoes on my little mat by the door. And that's about it. Supposedly a two-man tent, but I don't think so. Another evening of rain. Tent's doing great though. Hopefully we can get some better weather on this hike. This is getting a little tiring.
Day 3 started out a gorgeous day, so we took the chance to dry our gear in the sunlight and a breeze. Unfortunately, I was having battery problems, so not too many photos or videos from this day of hiking. Day 4 would take us down into Silverthorne, where we planned on staying at a hostel so we could work out some food shortage issues and some battery issues.
Oh, it's 8:15 in the morning. It's an interesting day, cloudy. Probably gonna rain soon. So we started early. So just about to finish the last little climb. We didn't have much climbing today, but finally an appropriate Snickers time. For being part of the CDT here in Colorado, trail disappears a lot. Doing the best we can. Don't mind the views.
Passing through a burn scar, we could see fireweed doing what it does best and being the first to grow back after a damaging fire. As we dropped into Silverthorne, we could see the valley we'd be climbing the next day. We stayed at a hostel in Silverthorne called the Pad, and were able to lay out some gear and once again dry it out. Then, of course, we went and got some food. In this photo, though, only the burrito is mine. Everything else was Don's. We fortunately had no issues on the treacherous trails in Silverthorne. Next day, we began our climb up into the Eagle's Nest Wilderness. We took a break at Willow Creek Falls to enjoy some of the beautiful scenery there before continuing on higher. Our goal this day was to get over Berthoud Pass, which meant we had 3,500 vertical feet to go and around 12 miles. Don't touch the blue spruce pine cones or you'll be stuck to everything else you touch that day. Found a water bottle filling station. I've climbed almost 3,500 feet today, and that's the last pass to get over. So that means Snickers time. As we were approaching the pass, we found a beautiful lake that I found simply irresistible, so I went for a dip. Weather had held up great that day, and so did our legs, so we made good steady progress all the way up to Berthoud Pass. Recent rains have brought out the mushrooms, but definitely don't eat these. However, the raspberries were doing great too. Definitely do eat those. Our fifth night's campsite was one of the more developed and was an easy place to find spots to set up and hang our bear bags. It was a cool, wet evening, but still pretty nice. I made myself some couscous with salmon. Delicious meal after a long day hiking. The next morning was kind of damp. You can tell where my tent was set up. But the sun came up quickly, began drying things out, and We had a beautiful hiking day ahead of us and only had to climb Uneva Pass before dropping down into Copper Mountain.
Morning laundry.
When you're hiking for days on end, you get a lot of chance to think. And I thought, I'm just going to capture a 1-minute clip of Don hiking. So many people talk about how amazing it is, how far we hike. But really it just comes down to this. This is 1 minute. You'll see the progress Don makes. Doesn't look hard. And it's just minute after minute that we keep stringing together. Those minutes add up to become hours. Those hours add up to become days. And over the course of 7 days, we hiked 70 miles. But it takes us to beautiful places. It doesn't require a lot of effort, just a lot of patience and endurance.
That has got to be the fanciest bridge I've ever seen on this trail. Just for a swamp.
On our way down into Copper Mountain, I mentioned to Don that we'd be going really close to a restaurant where we could get a burger. Don was game, and he bought me one too. Little did I know.
No, I'm eating here. Hey, get out of here.
What has changed? Get up! Lectures are cancelled. Easy Company is running up Curry. Move! Move! 3 miles up, 3 miles down.
Right after leaving Copper Mountain, we had about 1,500 feet to gain and 2 miles to get to camp. That burger was not my best friend. Sat like a rock in my stomach while we hiked. On the morning of our last day, we only had about 1,200 feet, 1,500 feet to gain to get to the ridge before we'd cross over to our long descent towards Breckenridge. Don found himself amongst a young family of ptarmigan that weren't too sure how to get away from him. It was a little windy up high, but we had completely blue skies, so we'll take that trade-off.
Doing our last 400 feet of gain, going up Gold Hill, drop down to the highway and be done.
Snickers time. Look at all those new trees since the fire. Michael and Jeff were able to meet us in Breckenridge, pick me up, and give me a ride home. It had been a great trip, and I look forward to the one next year, Don.